Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brian and Benjamin Tercetto, and we are the Tercetto Agency right here in the beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico. If this is your first time on this channel and you want to know everything about eating, working, sleeping, living, playing, and moving to Santa Fe, then make sure you tap on that subscribe button, click the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video.
And like we said before, we're born and raised in Santa Fe, and our families have been enjoying the city for generations. So we love this place. At the same time, we realize it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I mean, a lot of it is sunshine and rainbows, but let's get into the 5 pros and cons to living in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Let's start with pro number 1, and that's our beautiful Santa Fe weather. If you go back in time and look up the reasons why people were so attracted to Santa Fe 400 years ago, you're gonna find that one of the top reasons was our weather and our climate. On average, there are 325 sunny days per year in Santa Fe, while the US average is only 205 days. Santa Fe has a semi-arid climate that boasts bright blue skies, dramatic summer thunderstorms, and beautiful snowy winters that make spending the holidays here extra memorable. Now, some people might prefer looking at dark, drab rain clouds for months, or not being able to see the stars at night. But for the rest of us, the weather in Santa Fe is just about perfect.
And con number 1 is the other side of the same coin, the weather. Unlike some places you may be familiar with, Santa Fe actually has 4 seasons. We've got some wind in the spring, we've got some hot summer days, we've got a cool fall, and yes, we have cold and snow in the winter. So if you don't have a garage, you will be scraping ice off your windshield for a few months out of the year. Now, none of our seasons are extreme like some other places, but if you're looking for a place that has the same forecast day after day, Santa Fe probably isn't for you. Santa Fe is the kind of place that could be beautiful outside one moment, and then you're suddenly running for your life from a freak thunderstorm that just blew in. But then again, you can count on the storm being done in less than an hour or so that you can get back to walking around downtown or whatever it is that you were doing. I don't know, maybe you were trimming your hedges. I don't know you. But if you were walking around downtown, you'd find yourself surrounded by pro number 2, and that is our culture. See, Santa Fe is the oldest capital city in the United States, and recent fossil discoveries suggest that New Mexico is actually one of the oldest areas to have been settled in all of North America. And with a blend of Native American, Spanish, and modern Western influence, Santa Fe has a complicated but uniquely beautiful culture that makes it one of the most sought-after places to visit and live in the entire world. The Native American culture is one of the most original to the area, and you'll see the lasting impact of that culture everywhere you look, especially in our Pueblo-style architecture. You know you're in Santa Fe when you see the beautiful adobe buildings all around you. Sometimes it feels like you've traveled back in time as you soak in the richness of this place. Now, when we talk about culture, we need to talk about what lives in and out of those adobe walls, which leads us to Santa Fe's art scene. See, Santa Fe is one of the largest art markets in the world with hundreds of galleries and a rich history of famous artists like Will Schuster and, of course, George O'Keeffe. And then you have some of today's most innovative and nationally acclaimed art communities such as Meow Wolf, Site Santa Fe, and the Santa Fe Art Institute, to just name a few. Next to the art, you'll find museums to explore and food that will simply blow your mind, from food trucks to mom and pop shops to nationally acclaimed fine dining that will keep you coming back for more. And in future videos, we'll do some deep dives into these different pieces of our culture. But for now, believe me, this place is amazing.
Okay, let's talk about con number 2, and that's the cost of living in Santa Fe. If you look us up on bestplaces.net, Santa Fe has a cost of living index score of 115.4, with 100 being the average in the United States. That means that Santa Fe is slightly more expensive than other cities to live. So what makes Santa Fe more expensive? 2 things. 1, tourism drives the economy in Santa Fe, and 2, our housing market is more expensive than the average. Santa Fe gets about 2 million visitors a year, and because we have so many visitors, much of the economy is geared to tourists and part-time residents. The great part about this is we have a ton of great restaurants and shops. The bad is that prices are a little high depending on where you eat, drink, and shop. So what about the housing market? Well, just like any other real estate market in the United States, the prices for homes have surged. The median price for homes in Santa Fe rose to just above $600,000 in 2021, and it looks like it will continue to increase next year. Santa Fe is a popular second home and vacation home destination. So while buying an affordable home in Santa Fe can be challenging, we do have homes in all price ranges for individuals and families that are thinking of retiring or just getting started. But still, comparatively speaking, our housing market is a bargain when compared to cities like San Francisco or Denver. It really all just depends on where you're coming from. And that brings us to pro number 3. We already talked about the weather, but what would you do with 325 days of sunshine? Santa Fe sits at 7,000 feet above sea level in the southernmost Rocky Mountains and has 12,000 foot mountain vistas. It's tucked into a valley of the Rio Grande surrounded by 1.5 million acres of unspoiled national forest filled with juniper, pine, and aspen. If you love to mountain bike, golf, hike, white river raft, ski, fly fish, big game hunt, or explore ancient ruins on foot, Santa Fe is the place for you. Our Dale Ball Trail system is a nearly 25-mile network of natural surface trails for hikers and bicyclists in the foothills of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, providing ample terrain for you to explore for both beginners and more advanced explorers. What's better than blue skies, great weather, and being outdoors in nature? How about clean air? The first ever World Health Organization survey on air pollution says that Santa Fe's air quality readings are among the cleanest in the world. So if you're tired of breathing in the exhaust of old rundown vehicles in your town, come take a deep breath of our crisp and clean fresh air. Seriously, your lungs are going to thank you for it.
And that brings us to con number 3, allergies. Seriously, there are times of the year where the pollen from our juniper trees literally cakes our cars in this yellow fine dust. If you even bump into a juniper tree, you'll get hit with a cloud of what can only be compared to mustard gas. Just kidding, it's actually not that bad. But if you do happen to be allergic, you may very likely spend a few weeks out of the year with your eyes looking like Rocky Balboa in his first fight with Apollo Creed. Of course, there are some things to help, like allergy medicines, shots, or the slow buildup of immunity by consuming copious amounts of delicious local honey every year. Now, when you live in the beautiful surroundings of nature, sometimes you have to put up with the side effects of nature, but believe me, it's worth it. Okay, pro number 4. I have to give this one to the people of Santa Fe. And we have some of the most laid-back people I've ever met. Sure, everywhere has its jerks, and I'm sure that we have our share of those, especially during 5 o'clock traffic, which we will get to in a moment. But overall, people in Santa Fe are kind, they're open, and like I said, they're just laid back. I mean, we have people from all over the world, all walks of life, with all kinds of rich living experiences that decide to make Santa Fe their home. It's one of the things that makes Santa Fe so special, is its diversity. It's not uncommon for strangers to get into good conversations with each other, or even to grab a quick drink together. I mean, I've been bought my fair share of beers in my time. On top of that, there's a huge hunger for intellectual conversations and some great spots to have those, such as Violet Crown on the Rail Yard. That'd be one of my favorites. Don't be surprised if you find yourself chatting with a retired governor of New Mexico at the bar, or even bump into a Hollywood celebrity on the plaza. Everyone's welcome here.
Okay, con number 4. I'm gonna have to say, it's our nightlife. If you are young and single, Santa Fe isn't going to have a huge list of options of things to do after dark. It's one of the biggest complaints I heard growing up in Santa Fe. There's nothing to do for young people here. How are you supposed to meet your future partner if there's nowhere to go? Look, this just isn't Las Vegas, not even close. We have a ton of things to do. We have great restaurants with wonderful live music, the opera, world-class art galleries, and all kinds of art shows, and there's plenty to do after hours. But most of our events are going to be best enjoyed if you already have your favorite person at your side. Now, in my time selling real estate, I've seen plenty of my clients move to town and meet the love of their life. But they probably did that by accidentally bumping into them at the grocery store or at their favorite walking trail and not on the nightclub dance floor. So if you're single, don't despair. You're just gonna have to work a little harder to get out and meet people. So here we are, wrapping up at pro number 5, and we're going to call it pace of living. I've seen Santa Fe attract lots of people from the big cities that want to slow things down. They are tired of spending 2 to 3 hours in traffic jams every day, jostling for position in the crowds of people, air pollution, the stress of big city life. In Santa Fe, we don't understand the meaning of 5 o'clock traffic. Getting anywhere in Santa Fe at any time of the day is 20 minutes or less. People choosing Santa Fe want to enjoy their time. It's a lifestyle choice. Famous words from Ferris Bueller. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around for a while, you're gonna miss it. Santa Fe is the opposite of living life in the fast lane. The locals call it the land of mañana, or the land of tomorrow. Anything that can be done today can be done later. So slow down, enjoy the scenery, go out for a walk, breathe some fresh air, kick your feet up and relax. Everything's gonna be okay. And listen, it's always margarita time in Santa Fe.
Okay, we're wrapping up here with con number 5. See, Santa Fe is a difficult place when it comes to economic growth and opportunity. Our minimum wage sits at $12.32 an hour, and companies like Target and McDonald's do start around $15 an hour, but we don't have a lot of large corporations that provide excellent opportunities for career growth. Apart from a few career paths such as the medical field, film industry, working in local government, the Los Alamos labs, or artistic industries like Meow Wolf, I wouldn't say that this is like a prime location for people looking to expand their resume. Now, it's not that it's impossible, it's just a little bit more difficult. The Santa Fe is excellent for people looking to settle down in their life rhythms. It's great for retirees or entrepreneurs, and of course, all those people that can now work from wherever they want, with the reality of working remotely becoming more and more common, which is what we see quite a bit with our clients in their lives these days. Now, all that said, we're seeing an increase in larger tech and film companies beginning to plant themselves in our state, from Netflix to Facebook to Intel to Tesla, and we do expect that trend to continue as our state works with these corporations in economic revitalization of New Mexico. So Santa Fe isn't for everybody. I mean, maybe the allergies or the snow are enough to cross it off of your list, but then again, maybe this is exactly the right place for you. So if you are still thinking about moving or relocating to Santa Fe, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send us that Raven. However you want to get a hold of us, we're here to serve you in your move to the Santa Fe area. Let us be your guide.